Hi, I'm Karen Pennington, and the older I get, the more uncomfortable I am becoming with added clutter in my home. Now, if you know me, you know how ironic that is because I am not an overly tidy person. I do try to, mop the floors, get the dishes done, clean laundry, that sort of thing. But there's always some pile of something in my house. Um, and it's starting to, get on my nerves a little bit. My husband will probably tell you, and I love him so much, and we have a good marriage, and probably the biggest area for any kind of frustration between us, and maybe the most arguments, are things like me waking up in the morning and seeing dishes in the sink. Now, to be fair, I can have dishes in the sink because then it's my job to wash them. I just don't want to see his dishes in the sink. So there is just a little bit of hypocrisy there, I'll confess. Um, but I just notice the older I get, I just don't like seeing piles of things. And when it gets too much, it's like I want to focus on that. And um, there's one area that there's an exception to that, and that, of course, would be my granddaughter. Now, any of you who have ever been grandparents know this is true that my daughter, light of our lives, one of the great, maybe the great honors and privileges of our lives, second only to following the Lord, would be raising, the marriage and raising our daughter. But then there's the baby, my precious baby. All the love, all the cuteness, all the cuddles, all of that of our daughter as a child, um, twice the sleep, a fraction of the diapers. I highly recommend it in its due time. Yeah, like I said, you grandparents know exactly what I'm talking about. There's also a tendency to maybe spoil a little bit. So after we moved into the house, we tried to, I worked really hard at uncluttering everything. And now my house looks a little bit like a daycare center. Literally, there's a I'm looking ready to slide in the middle of the floor. There's like this horse that's 5 feet long. There's a tent. This is my living room. And anything else that causes this clutter like messes with me. But this just makes me so happy. Upstairs, probably a third of our room is dedicated to like a fort and playhouse, which Hurricane Lulu, when she comes over, promptly just throws everything everywhere and plays with and enjoys. And even the thought of it brings a smile on my face because I love her so much and I love seeing her explore and act. And I'm so glad that I had the opportunity a few years ago to do some mentoring in child care centers. Um, and it was my job to observe different early childhood development centers and maybe mentor the people that were there and help them figure out how to improve. And fortunately, I had a mentor of my own because I had a mistake I would have made when I first saw, um, the not preschool, before preschool, the toddler and infant room. You would see that an infant would play with a toy, or a toddler would play with a toy and walk away, and maybe come back to it and walk away. And but in the meantime, there were five, six, seven toys on the floor, and um, my first thought was, well, that's a mess. We need to help. We need to ask these people to clean right up after them. And my mentor said, no, 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 that would be a problem because you see, when, and this is profound, there's a time to clean up when they're sleeping or when they're eating, but you don't want to mess with the process. If you clean up too quickly, you're robbing that child of the ability to keep exploring and keep learning. And you actually can stunt the education development um, if you're so quick to put something away as soon as it's out. Um, and I think about that with our lives. I mean, yeah, I'm a mess, but there are times where I just want things neatly tied up. I just want the conclusion. I just want the answer. And I think in doing that sometimes when I'm too quick to, well, clean up the mess, as it is to say, or to put a bow on the package, or to have that perfect outline and that really publishable answer, I think I miss the miracle. And really, I miss the presence. Reminds me of Mary and Martha in Luke 10. There's that story where Martha owns this home and she invites Jesus into her home, and her sister Mary's there, and Martha is doing everything that she feels like a good host should be doing. Cooking, cleaning. I mean, she's probably working herself sick trying to make sure everything is right and looks right for Jesus. I mean, who wouldn't? Who wouldn't? If this important person is in your house, wouldn't want everything to look great and be great. And in the meantime, her sister is doing pretty much nothing. Well, she's doing something. Mary's sitting and talking with Jesus, and Martha gets annoyed and says it. Come on, I'm doing the work here, Jesus. Why? What's going on with Mary? Why I didn't invite her over here to be lazy? Pennington translation. And Jesus lovingly corrects her and says, she's doing what's better. Now, he didn't say, Martha, what you're doing is wrong. He didn't say, Martha, you're being disobedient. He didn't say, Martha, how dare you serve me? But this is better. And I think that sheds light on some things. I don't think Martha had an obedience problem, definitely, or a work problem. She's working right then. I don't think she had a faith problem. This is the same Martha where later on, she told Jesus after her brother had died, because Jesus hadn't gotten there in time, Martha said, you can fix even this. I mean, this is someone who's looking at Jesus before people even knew who he was and said, I know you can even raise the dead. It wasn't a faith problem. It was a focus problem and a timing problem. Because there is a time to clean up, and there is a time to do what we need to do, and there is a time to make things look so nice. But that wasn't it. This was the time to leave the toys on the floor and to explore and to learn. I love Matthew 6:33, where it says, don't worry about what you'll eat or what you drink or what you wear. And you might add, or what you'll look like, or when the dishes will get done, or how people will see you. That's a pagan. That's idolatry even. To think that I worry more about the dishes than Jesus, that's pretty hard. The pagans run after these things, but seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added unto you. So maybe the key wasn't, don't clean, Martha, or don't help, Martha, but it was the better thing. Martha, as Jesus said, be with me first. Be with me first. I'll let you figure out when to pick up the toys. I'll let you figure out when to clean. There's a time for that, but me first, and then everything else. I can give you perspective for everything else. Oh, Jesus, that is my prayer today. I am so in process with that. Thank you so much for the joy of children and what they teach us about you. Thank you so much that we can rest even when things aren't flawless, because they never are, but you're perfect, God. Thank you for this adventure and this journey, and just help us to keep growing. Thank you so much for being with us. Have a great day.